our food pipe. But when this acid, the accumulation acid of this acid gets more, when this acid generation becomes more than what is needed to break down your food, is when we suffer from acidity. And sometimes this acid generation could be because of our lifestyle. There also could be because of certain health issues or certain prolonged medication, the after effect of medication. So acidity could be because of various reasons. It could be because of very super sedentary lifestyle too. So whatever reasons, accumulation or generation of more than normal amount of acid in our stomach is what we call acidity. So today we will discuss what is acidity, what are causes and symptoms, and how we can manage acidity. So when a person suffers from heartburn, also when gas forms in your stomach, these are all signs and symptoms of acidity. The only sign symptom, there are many more. We frequently see people are burping, bloating, feeling of heaviness, feeling of indigestion or discomfort, burning sensation in the chest or in the throat, or even headache, nausea, vomiting. These are all signs and symptoms of acidity. Stomach generates hydrochloric acid, which helps in digestion of food. When excess hydrochloric acid is released in our stomach, we suffer from acidity. So why do we have acidity? Reasons. What are the causes of acidity? Now, when we consume food which is excess in fatty acids, like high fatty food, resulting acidity, excess acid generation. Acidity can also cause because of excessive consumption of caffeine, which could be via frequent coffee or tea, excess alcohol intake, or by smoking too. Not only by consumption of these food, in fact, people who remain in stomach for a long time or prolonged time also suffer from acidity. There are certain health conditions where normal accumulation of acid becomes more. Those are the conditions like pregnancy, obesity, or overweight. And also as we increase in age, as we become older, our tendency to gain acidity becomes more. Now, not only this, people who are used to of eating frequent junk food or processed flour like maida or refined flour, or too much of sugary food, or in general an unhealthy diet, are also prone to have acidity. Not only this, having a big meal and then immediately lying down or sleeping can also trigger your acidity. So what are the symptoms of acidity? Very, very common are headache, heartburn, indigestion, constipation, poor appetite. I would request you to please stay away from your screens because you are scribbling on the screen and this will disturb the presentation. Later on, you won't be able to see the presentation. So coming back to the symptoms of acidity, headache, heartburn, indigestion, poor appetite, because you will keep feeling bloated or full throughout the day. Even after having a meal, say after 5 or 6 hours of having, if you don't feel hungry, this is a sign or symptom that there is something wrong in your body. A normal human being should feel hungry after 4 hours of having a meal. And if you think you are still not hungry or you don't feel the sensation of hunger, it means something is wrong in your body. And that's mostly because your body is acidic and these acids are creating or generating certain gases, which results in feeling of fullness and you don't feel hungry. Even if you feel hungry, your appetite is less. Easily you feel tired, that is what we call easy fatigue. Burning sensation in upper part of the stomach above the diaphragm, you start feeling a burning sensation. It's just behind the breast, chest bone or breast bone, you see a feeling of burning sensation. A nauseatic, your mouth always tastes bitter, little soury and acidic. Your muscles usually cramps, you feel kind of soreness and pain in your muscles. GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disorder. That's also a result of prolonged acidity if it is not been addressed properly. I will go in detail about this. And also respiratory problems, which also accompany with frequent coughing. Sometimes people don't understand. They think something happened to their throat, or some frequent coughing means some cold or cough. Although on examination, it is seen that there is no flame, no cold, nothing. Their lungs are totally clear. It could be also because of chronic acidity or GERD. These are all signs and symptoms of your GERD or building up of acid. Along with that, tooth decay or mouth ulcers are also common. Yes, those who are seen to have having acidity for a long time, their tooth enamel gets corroded and their tooth decay is a common process in prolonged time. And ulceration in mouth also seen for people who suffer from acidity frequently. So let's talk about peptic ulcer. Peptic ulcer is when this acidity issue is not resolved, and in long run it gives ulceration in our stomach, and sometimes this can be acidity in our duodenum. So peptic ulcer means stomach ulcer plus duodenal ulcer. So let's talk about stomach ulcer to understand. Stomach ulcer occurs when the internal mucosal layer of the stomach, which protects our stomach from the reaction of these digestive juices which are produced in our body to digest the food. So our body, as a human body, is supposed to generate digestive juices and acids on a regular time period, on a regular interval of a certain few fixed hours. If we don't provide food to our body on a timely manner, no matter what, this acid and these juices will produce, and these will start corroding your mucosal layer. You can see the healthy layer, this layer, this will starts corroding the inside layer. And if this process keeps on going, you can see the small round things here. These are the ulcers. The ulceration forms in stomach. When it is stomach ulcer, ulcer forms in stomach, it is called stomach ulcer. If it forms in duodenum, the upper part of the duodenum, which is connected with the stomach, it's called duodenal ulcer. Whichever ulcer it is, both are combined together, we call peptic ulcers. So we must ensure that to avoid in general acidity, food should be provided to the body on a timely manner, so that the digestive juices and acids which are supposed to break down the food must act on the food, not on your stomach wall. Let's talk about what is GERD, or gastroesophageal acid reflux disorder. It is a digestive disorder, to be very simple. When does it occur? It occurs when acid and the stomach juices, or the food which we partly digested or partly broken down, and the fluid which gets mixed with the food, all starts going up through the esophageal pipe, which is the food pipe. Every human, we have a food pipe. We eat food from mouth, and this food transfers via a food pipe into your stomach. There is a joining from where the esophageal pipe goes into the stomach, a fine muscular sphincter. Now this film, this fine thin layer allows food to go in one-way direction. But what happens when there is a lot of acid? It creates gases and an upward pressure is created. And this will keep on pushing this layer and allows the food to go upward direction, allows the acid to go upward direction. That is where we feel a sour or a bitter taste in our mouth. That's why, because the acid of the stomach is flowing reverse direction. It is flowing upward direction. And this is when we call GERD, wherein gastroesophageal acid reflux is happening. The reflux is reaching in your mouth cavity, giving you the feeling of bitterness or sourness in your mouth. And this is a thing, it is a condition which we need to avoid, to address immediately on a serious note. Because if GERD continues to happen, then what happens? It may give rise to esophageal ulceration, because the esophagus, the food pipe, has a very smooth mucosal lining protecting the food pipe. Continuous upward flow of acid can corrode its lining and giving rise ulceration in the mouth. That's not needed. Also, there is a condition called hiatal hernia or hiatus hernia. Normal stomach, the left side of the picture, you can see this is the normal stomach, and this is a separation which we call diaphragm, a skin's muscular separation. Below the diaphragm is the normal stomach, and on the top you can see the food pipe. This is the normal stomach. What happens in hiatal hernia or hiatus hernia, some part, the little part of the stomach has bulged out. It goes above the diaphragm and bulged out, becomes swollen here. This is what we call hernia, herniated condition, the swollen condition. This is called hiatus hernia or hiatal hernia. On top of this, you can see esophagus. So here the stomach is below the diaphragm. On the right side, stomach has gone upward, above the diaphragm. Sometimes GERD can also result because of hiatus hernia, but not always. So these are the medical condition wherein you feel acidity. Now talking about the symptoms, headache. Headache could be mild or it can be extreme. Headache is not necessary only because of acidity. It can be because of various other conditions or health conditions. But yes, acidity can also give you headache or migraines, many people say. People suffering from GERD get frequent migraines or headaches or bouts of headaches. Acid reflux may make some people feel in pain in their head, or they also feel a kind of congestion and pain on the sinus prone areas like the temple zone or the area below your eyes near your nasal cavity. These are the sinus prone zones. This can also feel pain sensation when you have acidity. Or there could be a chronic regular pain issues wherein you get more than 2 times headache or these sinuses or migraine pains in a week. Those are called chronic conditions. Heartburn. Heartburn is when we say a burning sensation, a burning pain in your chest behind our breastbone. A burning pain in the chest that usually occur after eating. Yes, when we have meal and immediately after eating, we start feeling a pain or pain sensation behind our breastbone. That's what we call chest burning. And also this gets triggered up when we have our dinner usually, or after dinner, post dinner, when we try to lie down on the bed. So these are the conditions. We need to understand if the heartburn is usually because during this timing, we must address it on a serious note. This could be a severe case of acidity. Pain can be worsened. Pain can get triggered, becomes more worse when we lie down or we turn or twist in one side. Sometimes you can see a bitter or acidic taste of fluid go inside your mouth. These are all signs of GERD. Not only this, people may also suffer from constipation. Yes, you have heard me correct. Constipation may also be a result of GERD. Why? Because in GERD, people suffering with GERD visits doctors, and usually proton pump inhibitors are the medications given to the GERD patient to cure or subside their GERD. Now, PPIs are good for giving you relief from GERD, but the side effect of PPI is they always give the patient, most of the time they give patient constipation. So people suffering with GERD, and if they are on medication, may suffer from constipation as well. Nausea, you may feel vomiting, because when your migraine gets triggered, your headache becomes severe, and yet the acidity is not taking care of, it is not subsiding. You may feel nauseatic, and sometimes people after puking, they feel better and relieved because the overload of acid goes away via vomiting. Those who are suffering with GERD with prolonged time, if you can see the picture, normal tooth should be longer than this, but these are all corrosion. The enamel of the tooth gets corroded, and thus it gives tooth decay in over a period of time. Our tooth gets spoiled, which is not a good sign. Tooth decay can slowly and gradually deteriorate your health quality, because you won't be able to eat food properly later on if you don't have good denture or good tooth. Sometimes hyperacidity or acid accumulation and frequent acid reflux in your mouth can also lead to ulceration. You can see the picture, ulcers in the mouth inside. And also I said sometimes respiratory conditions, respiratory problem occurs with frequent coughing. That is also sign of GERD. These are all need to be addressed properly. Just a minute. Yeah. So what is the way by which we can reverse this acidity, we can reduce this acidic condition, and how do we need to address? First of all, we need to understand the medicines also called antacids. These are not a long-term solution. What antacids usually do? Antacids, they clear the condition, means they help in subsiding the extra acid which is generated in the stomach. Yes, they give you immediate relief or temporary relief, but they don't cure the root cause why this additional acid is generating in your body on a timely manner. To remove or to cure it from the root cause, we must address what are the reasons of this acid generation. So let me, I will come to that. I would like to discuss this pH balance scale for you to understand. If you see the picture, there are different colors given. Can you see the green color? That's the neutral pH. Our blood pH is maintained at 7.04. And in our stomach, it's an acidic environment inside stomach. The pH is somewhere from 3 to 3.4 or 3.5. So which means acid is more. If you see the left side below 7 is all acidic environment. The more you go close to 7 is neutral acid, weak acid. The more you go away from 7 towards 1 is more stronger acid. Similarly, the more you go away from 7 towards 14 is stronger alkali. The more you go close to 7 from 14, which is the purple and bluer side, becomes weaker alkali. So stomach is a place which is a strong acidic zone. So if you can see somewhere between 3 to 4 in stomach pHs, it is in the pure acidic zone. Similarly, our vagina, female vagina should be having alkaline condition, wherein if we see frequent UTIs, that is because our acidic environment has created more. So I'm just giving you one example how acidity and alkalinity change the environment. Now, we definitely need to maintain the acidic environment in the stomach. Why? Because acid only helps in breaking down the food, and stomach needs acid to break down the food. But when this acid goes more, becomes more, the problem of acidity arises. Also, not only the HCl or the digestive juices, stomach also contains lactic acid. Lactic acid, if this goes more in our body, when there is too much of lactic acid in our body, that can also change our body's pH into acidic. Lactic acid accumulation can be because of chronic alcohol users. Those who are used to of having alcohol in a regular manner, they can also see lactic acid accumulation. Our health conditions like heart failure, cancer, seizures, liver failure, or prolonged lack of oxygen or low blood sugar level, these all can cause a condition wherein more lactic acid can be generated in your stomach. Even prolonged exercises can create or can release more lactic acid buildup in your muscles and your body. So that is not something to be worried of, but yes, the health condition or the alcohol use wherein excess of lactic acid can be generated in our body, and thus it can turn to our body acidic. So we need to address that. Now, talking to antacid as a solution. Antacids, they work by neutralizing the stomach acid, the acid which is there in the stomach, but it is not going to clear, it is not going to cure the root cause. Usually antacids contain 3 elements, which are either aluminium, magnesium, or calcium. Antacids which contain aluminum and calcium, they usually also cause constipation. So popping in those antacid tablets or the liquids, you may get relief for temporary basis, but gradually your body becomes constipated. You face a lot of constipation issues over a period of time. Why? Because these antacids are mostly with calcium and aluminium. And also those antacids which are loaded with magnesium, they can give you diarrhea. There is a third type of antacid condition like ENO, a so-called popular name. People used to have the sodas to get relief, temporary relief of any acidity. Now these sodas are sodium bicarbonate. We need to understand if these are absorbed, these are frequently taken to take care of the acidity condition, these sodas can be absorbed into our blood circulation. And this may cause sodium overload in some people, especially for people who are suffering with heart disease, kidney issues, or liver issues, or even those who are suffering with high BP. They must avoid this frequent popping in of sodas to temporarily relieve their acidity. Even I am sharing here a slide. It is from USA, which shows the prevalence of GERD. 15 to 30% of US population has shown to have GERD, the gastroesophageal reflux disorder. So this is a very, very common condition. And this is a data taken in 2014. Now we are already ahead of it. It has already increased. It has not gone down, it is going up. And because of GERD, hospitalization numbers in 1998 were 995,402, where in 2005 it has gone up to 3.14 million. So you can see babies, a surprising data. If you see for GERD, babies who have been hospitalized in 1998 has also gone 42% more in 2005. Children ages 2 to 17, hospitalization because of GERD has gone 84% more. What does this indicate? This is a simple indication is towards our lifestyle changes, towards our food habit. How many of us, if you think carefully that, yes, I am suffering with acidity, just try to recall how many times in a week we are popping in or eating this processed food or outside market bought food or the canned food or this packaged food. Remember, all this processed food or canned food or the tinned food, these all comes with some additive emulsifiers or some preservatives. All these preservatives, grade 2 preservatives, yes, grade 2 preservatives allowed to add as a preservatives and additives in food, but these are slow acidity causing agents too. So don't forget, if we keep on consuming all this box packed, tin packed food, this is going to give more acidity in our body in a prolonged time. So try avoiding it. So that is one. How about preventing our body from acidity? First of all, I am sure you must have noticed there are certain food which gives acidity to some, wherein same food may be well tolerated by other member of your family. In my nutritional practice, I have seen almost, I can say clearly, around out of every 15 person I have consulted, around 12 to 13 usually suffer from some or other acidity condition. And most of them, I would say most, not all, but most of them were not even aware of, yes, these are the condition because of acidity they are suffering with. And out of them, after taking consultation, after going through and understanding these situations and following the advice, most of them were able to recover from it. And it's not that they are never getting any bouts of acidity. Yes, they do. Even after understanding, recovering and healing, they also get acidic bout. But now they know what is the trigger and how to prevent that acidic bout, and even if they have it, how to balance it and manage it nicely. So that is what we need to do. We need to understand, identify that certain food which is the triggerer in your body, you need to learn to avoid them. And those food which are fine with you, you need to consume. Now I will discuss here certain food which are very common acid prone or hard to digest food. The first and foremost, I would like to talk about legumes like chickpeas. Chickpeas or chole or kabli chana, commonly known in Hindi. These are the white chanas. I have given the picture also on the right side. Chickpeas are very hard to digest. Most of the time it is seen people suffering or have low tendency, low indigestibility or high or prone in acidity often suffer with gassiness or indigestion after eating chickpeas. Why? Because chickpeas are a very good source of fiber. Now they have high amount of resistant starch and insoluble fiber. These are not easily digested in your body. So normally we buy dry chickpeas from market and we soak it overnight and then we boil and cook. Yet you see, yes, these are gas forming. So what do we need to do? Those who are buying dry chickpeas and soaking and boiling, ensure that you boil and discard that water. Suppose if you're boiling it in a cooker, after 1 or 2 whistles, please let it cool down, change the water, and then further again you cook it in pressure cooker, pressure it again. Once it is done, discard that water and then wash it with fresh water and then cook your chickpeas in your curries or the food you want to add it to. This will help improving the digestibility quotient of the chickpeas. Those who are buying chickpeas in a canned form, please wash it nicely, discard the canned liquid and wash it nicely and then use it. Canned chickpeas here, I would like to say, are better in terms of digestibility because they are already processed in a manner where the fiber content is dissolved. It has become easy to digest by your body. After chickpeas, I would like to say kidney beans. Yes, I am talking about kidney beans and legumes, all sorts of beans and legumes. Some of you who are suffering with acidity must have seen that some of the beans, especially if eaten during night or in dinner in evening, may cause gas or flatulence or indigestion. That is because they are really hard to digest because of the fiber content in them. So ensure if you are suffering with it, avoid having them in dinner. Try having it in lunch. Also remember, after evening, our metabolism goes down, digestibility also goes low. So we must ensure that we consume easy to digest food at night, and during day we can try having these legumes and beans. Those who are suffering with acidity also must try to avoid avoid consumption of any uncooked vegetables, which means no raw vegetables in your food, which means avoid having uncooked salads. So purely avoid salad if you think you are acidic. Avoid consumption of onions, raw onions. Even cucumber can be acidic to many. So try avoiding any sort of raw vegetables which are uncooked. Even consumption of garlic, ginger in more portion can be acid generating, can create more acidity. So try avoiding those. Carbonated drink for sure should be avoided. Any consumption of refined flour should be avoided. Avoid sugar. Sugar also causes acidity. Try saying no to sugar. Try doing this absolutely zero sugar, go zero sugar, at least for 10 to 12 days, and you will start feeling a difference in your acidity level. And those who are really suffering with acidity, you can also stop having your tea or coffee. You can start seeing a difference. Also keep a check on your water intake. Try to consume at least 3 or 3.5 liters of water provided if you are not suffering with any health condition like any heart disease or any kidney issues. See, remember these suggestions which I am discussing here is only for general people, those who are not suffering with any specific disease condition. Those who are having any disease condition, they must speak to me in person separately. This is for mass. If you are suffering with kidney issues or any heart condition, please speak to me later on or discuss with me. These are general conditions, especially the water, because in heart condition or kidney disease condition, water intake could be limited or defined. So try not to go like that. But for normal people, try to have more water, because water will help you to flush out all this extra acid generated in your body. And also try not to sit immediately after having your meals. At least avoid sitting or lying down for next 45 minutes after having your meals. And one very important note, which I keep on telling in almost all my talks, is try to learn to eat correctly. Try to give at least 15 to 20 minutes to your meal time. Ensure that you are having small bites at a time. You must chew each bite thoroughly. Chewing is very important. Chew thoroughly each bite. Chew to the time you see absolutely zero solid food is left in your mouth to chew further. Make sure, this is something is easy to say, but it is difficult to practice. But remember, any habit needs 2 to 3 weeks, real difficult hard work to learn with, to adapt with, or to leave with. You can either adapt it or leave it. So just ensure that you practice enough to chew slowly. Chew slowly, eat thoroughly, and eat till the point you feel 80-85% full, not 100% full. Remember, eat only till you are almost full, not 100%. Leave this much space. When you think you are almost full, just stop it. Don't eat till you are completely full. Uh, Eating till you are completely full means you have overeaten. Try not to starve, try not to keep your stomach empty, but at the same time, try not to overeat too. So how we can prevent acidity? First is change your eating pattern the way I have suggested. Start eating slowly and chewing thoroughly. Eat healthy. Yes, eat healthy. Avoid deep fried food. Try to minimize processed or junk food. Try to eat fresh food, fresh cooked food, and try to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables in your daily diet, but ensure vegetables are not raw, they are cooked, just cooked, not overcooked. Avoid sleeping with a full stomach, which means after you have your dinner or your lunch, at least 45 minutes, do not sit, do not sleep. Increase your water intake if you feel you are acidic. Reduce your alcohol intake. Try to quit smoking. Yes, smoking leads to acidity. It adds on into acidic condition of your body. Avoid tea or coffee. If you are acidic and while you are sleeping, you feel a acid bout or a reflux in your mouth, try to change your sleeping posture. Do not try to sleep or lie down straight. Try to tilt in one side and try to lift your head little up, which will help keeping your head up and prevent the reflux from coming into your mouth. And it will help also that acid which comes into your esophagus can go back down into the stomach. Now, one more important topic is regular exercise. Those who are suffering with acidity, you must ensure that you do regular active exercise, do regular cardio exercise. Yes, exercise helps in improving our muscle toning inside the body. It's also has shown excellent result in reducing the acid generation. Any extra acid generation can also be reduced naturally by increasing your exercise daily. So try doing regular exercise. Sedentary lifestyle also adds on to our stress level in life, and also sedentary lifestyle has shown to increase acidity in our body. So try to exercise regularly. Remember, today we may have time to become healthy. Tomorrow it may be very late with medical complications setting in our life. So try adapting to certain natural lifestyle changes, like as I have suggested. If you are a sedentary person, try to adapt to regular exercise habit, try to quit smoking, try to reduce your alcohol intake, increase your water intake, and of course, try to learn to eat properly. While it is your food time, ensure no TV, no mobile, or no other distraction. Give your 100% attention and focus towards your food only. Try to chew slowly and eat slowly and thoroughly. Some exercises I would like to suggest. This is just to emphasize that yes, exercise can be done within our home. If there is no access to gym or outside, it's still okay. Try to do any form of exercise which you can do inside your home only. Simple and easy, excellent exercises. Plank, it can be doable wherever inside your home. It just needs your body's space. Push-ups can also be done. You can do squats, you can do lunges, and many more. Go for brisk walk, go for running, jogging, do leg raise, do squats, do push-ups, do whatever exercise you can. Just keep and make sure that you're doing regularly. Remember, when we eat every day, we sleep every day, we must learn to exercise daily. Also, sleep is important in reducing our acidity generation in our body. Good quality sound sleep helps in reducing overall stress in our body, and it also improves our body's healing power. Not only healing power, but it also helps improving the generation of antibodies. It helps building up antibodies, and it also helps fighting against infection. Sleeping at an inclined position also decreases acid reflux or reflux symptoms. So always try to lift your head up, little bit inclined. Your head should be little up, not up on a flat level surface if you are having regular acid reflux, so that it will allow your body to reverse the flow of the esophageal reflux. The acid which is going from your food pipe to your mouth it will not go into your mouth, rather it will go back into your stomach, so that it will help improving your acidic level and you don't feel bitter in your mouth. Remember, stress. Stress is a leading cause of acidity in an individual's life. Stress can deplete the production of prostaglandins. Prostaglandins helps reducing acidity. It protects our stomach from the excess effects of, it protects our stomach from the effect of acid. Now, if prostaglandins are less, our acid will go high, it will start corroding our stomach, leading to ulceration, leading to more acidity, acid reflux, or stomach ulcers, etc., or GERD. So ensure we must try all our means to reduce stress from our life, whether it is via meditation, via deep breathing, just by doing some exercise, listening to some soothing music, or sleeping on time, or talking to friends, whichever makes you feel happy and less stressed, try to do that. Stress coupled with exhaustion may lead to increased acid reflux. So try to rest, try to relax, and try to calm down your mind. It is very important, because once we are stressed, our acidity level will normally go high. So from this, I will end up here for today's talk. I would like to share this slide for today's next talk, which is at 7:30 Singapore time, 5 p.m. India time. It's about menopause. Menopause is not a taboo anymore. It's a topic to discuss among women and also among men, because they also need to understand what we as women are going through. So those who have missed out my earlier session on menopause, they have yet another chance to join it today at 7:30 Singapore time and 5 p.m. India time. The link is shared on my Facebook page, and also it is shared in the chat box. I will share it again. And from this, I will open up the chat box to answer all the questions, and you can also raise your hand and unmute yourself to ask questions.